show.
Yeah. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is a little surprise. We were just going to record this and then have me edit the show, but we decided to go live. This and then have me edit the. Give me 1 second. When you have a live show, sometimes give me 1 second. There's an ID10T error on my part.
I hear the echo.
Yeah, that was because I had the volume on.
Gotcha.
My YouTube was on, so the delay from what I was saying was coming out of the page.
No worries.
Yeah, so hashtag baseball only, JML, Fire Frank, bringing another episode. Apparently, the Twitch stream is a little messed up. It's okay. We'll let me see if I can fix it. It might not get fixed. It's okay. We are live here on YouTube. Let me get everything sorted out. Boom. We got a banner. We are good to go. Let me change the logo. I think we have a comment. Let's see what we have going on. One of one Hunter. What is going on, man? Yes, hashtag baseball only.
Thank you.
Yeah, love the hashtag, Frank. But in the football, wow, see, in the sports card world, it's very much hashtag football only for me lately. I've been on a football kick for the past week, but yeah, we're here for baseball. We are here for baseball. They released the 2023 schedule. So let's take a look. I'm going to pull that up here in a second.
And as promised, there's some interesting changes.
Yeah, very interesting. Here we go. Diamond Princess in the chat as well.
Hey.
Well, okay. The Twitch stream is down. Ladies and gentlemen, Twitch is down. I will end up posting this episode on Twitch anyways. It just won't be live. It is what it is. All right, 2023 schedule. But there's a twist. Sounds like a Scream movie.
Uh-huh.
The MLB moved to a balanced schedule. They're cutting the divisional games. Every team plays each other at least once next year. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, when I first heard them talk about this like a while back, I found it interesting. I think the major difference, like you said, the divisional, like it was now 13 games versus 18.
Yes,
that's going to be a significant difference in some of these divisional races going forward. Obviously, as far as just the idea of playing every other team once, that's never been done. It's kind of cool. I like the idea that you're playing them once, so it doesn't mean you're playing, here or there. Like 1 year you might play them at home, 1 year you might go to the other place. The Yankees are going to Cincinnati. They're going to Pittsburgh again, going to some of these cool ballparks, which is pretty neat.
And it could affect how the front office picks their players as well,
which I find interesting that they would do it like this. Some reasoning.
Yeah.
So we see. I'm sorry, I'm reading it. Weather permits, opening day on March 30th will be the first, and every team opens on the same day since 1968. Wow,
which makes sense. It was always always bewildered me why they would start the season and there would be like 4 or 5 games.
Stupid.
And then the next day, it seemed like it was opening day. I get it. You want to like make a showcase, but to me, opening day when you have a grandiose title as opening day, every team should be playing on opening day.
Yes, 100%.
Hey,
Tina, how you doing? Let's see. We've got looking at some of this stuff here. All 30 clubs in action on the 4th of July, as it should be. Cardinals and Cubs in the London series, excellent.
Yeah. So we won't get for the Yankees. They won't have to go through the buzzsaw of the AL East as much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to lighten the load. We have the Orioles that are an up and coming team. We have Toronto, Tampa Bay. Boston's good every other year, so they're due to be good next year.
Somehow they'll be better next year, even without Bogarts.
They're consistent at being inconsistent, right? Yeah.
The Nationals, the Little League Classic, that would be pretty cool. Williamsport.
Yeah,
I like that. All-Star game in Seattle. Yep.
All-Star game in Seattle.
I remember that last one.
Hopefully Julio is
ready to go.
Still Julio. He can represent Major League Baseball and then Seattle Mariners at the All-Star game again. Maybe participate in the home run derby again. I know there's some Mariners fans that don't want to see him in the home run derby again, but I think for the sport, it would be awesome for him to try to defend. I mean, he didn't win. Did he win? No, Soto won.
Soto won, but he runner-up.
See, this is what I said before on the show. You're always going to think that Julio won the home run derby
because he had the most.
He had the best showing in the derby.
They got to adjust those rules again.
Yeah, maybe he dips his toes back into the sand and participates next year and wants to win. Like, let's do it. Let's make it competitive.
That should be a given. We'll see what he wants to do, but that's ideal.
So that was awesome news. Let's talk about something that we've talked about several times on this show. Again, we're recording baseball only. This is not a break night hangout. I am recording baseball only. You guys can chill. You can contribute to the conversation. Glad that people are in the chat saying hello. I appreciate it. Frank appreciates it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. We have a player. Yes. I think you know where I'm going with this. Fernando Tatis.
Mm-hmm.
He issued an apology the other day. Let me ask you something. Where was this when he got suspended? What took him so long to realize he had to do this?
Yeah, other than that little written statement, and then we heard from his father.
Yeah, and his father made it worse.
His father made
it. Oh, it's a conspiracy. They're targeting my son. It's pretty awful. Pretty awful.
Kind of had no self-awareness there, considering that he was on the as we earlier episode talked about his name being in the Mitchell report.
Yes. So I'm gonna read the statement. Justin, hello. How are you doing? Games to Games. How are you doing?
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Tatis statement. I would like to start this day just by saying I'm truly sorry. I'm really sorry. I have let so many people down. I have lost so much love from people. I have failed the front office of the San Diego Padres, Peter Seidler, AJ Preller, and I have failed the fans of the city. I have failed my country. I have failed my family, parents. I'm really sorry for my mistakes. I have seen my dreams turn into my worst nightmares in a couple days, a couple months. There's no one to blame other than myself. I made a mistake. No, it's all good. You guys could chat. It's all good. You guys could chat within your, the chat about whatever. It's cool. Frank, this was a good apology. For me, it came a little too late in the process.
Yeah, this should have been the first thing he just came out and said. If he said exactly this that day, obviously people still going to talk, but it would have helped tremendously his standing in the public eye and for his teammates as well.
It didn't he didn't seem remorseful. It was the typical cop out, like, oh, I took this for ringworm.
Yeah. Even if it's true, nobody's going to buy that, so don't even bother, guy.
And for me, and then on top of this, right? And it's almost as if this apology covered up the fact that the kid had to have shoulder surgery on top of it. So this guy, broken wrist because he did it to himself, right? The PED suspension, the bad shoulder, which was probably hurt during the motorcycle accident.
Right.
This is an issue here. I don't see this marriage between Tatis and the Padres lasting too much longer. It seems like the front office is annoyed, ownership is annoyed. And you look at his contract, it's very tradable. The back end of the deal looks bad, but he gets paid virtually nothing in the next 4 or 5 years. And then by the time you're paying him big time money, guess what? It's going to look like a bargain.
Yeah. And if he's healthy and, of course, granted nothing else goes on or any more issues, there'll be a lot of people jumping at that. And obviously now with the Soto move, if they do sign him to an extension or re-sign him, losing their one-time, maybe current, if you want to call him still a franchise player, won't sting as much and move on. Yeah. But somebody, they'll be. I mean, we laugh now. People saying, "Oh, he's damaged goods," but there'd be at least 10 teams calling them tomorrow if they put him up for available trade.
For sure.
So, I could see.
I fully expect him to bounce back and be a top 10, top 5 player next year in baseball. He is that talented, but it's going to take several years for him to break the stigma that he caused. And for a lot of fans, it will never go away. I think A-Rod brought it up the best. Like, he said that he felt bad for Tatis because he knows what's going to happen to him. It's going to follow him now his entire career. He's only 23 years old. He's probably, God willing, he's going to play till 35 through 40. Like, at some point, he's got another 12 to 17 years left in his career. He's going to have to deal with this for the entirety. Again, this was self-inflicted. However, he is a young guy. I remember myself at 23. I'm sure you remember yourself at 23. Yeah. If someone handed me $350 million, maybe I'm out riding motorcycles and, living it up. Who knows, right? You don't know how money changes someone and fame, right?
Yeah.
Because we've never lived that life.
No, not at all.
But we can only sit back and critique, and that's what we're doing. Frank, you want to add anything else about Tatis, this whole situation?
I mean, we hit them all. I think you hit all the points. I would just implore people, like you said, I do expect him to bounce back as well. I hope that this is the last, speck on his career for his sake, and for the game's sake. Of course, there'll be a lot of people that will never see him as other than a cheater, I guess. That's always going to follow him around, like you said, like A-Rod. In his case, it may not even be the case, as we talked about. Most likely, what he was doing was just trying to get better, health-wise. So I think I like people remember, keep that in mind when you're thinking about, these PD suspensions. It's not making an excuse. I'm just saying, remember what it's for. It's not necessarily, this is not making him a better player per se. I just hope that just for the game's sake, we talked about the marketing, about the young players. We don't want this to be affecting, the youth watching. Just the idea of everybody getting into the game. Nobody wants this to hurt the game in the future of the game. Especially, I'm sure Major League Baseball doesn't want it either. But
yeah. He has and had such a huge fan base, Tatis.
yeah,
So it's unfortunate to hear the news when it came down. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in 2023 with Tatis Jr., Macamania running wild.
Welcome.
Macamania. What's up? Hashtag baseball only fans.
Only.
Baseball only fans sound provocative. Provocative. I'll leave it at that. Speaking of superstars, one of my favorite players in the game, a little known player. I don't think a lot of people have heard of this guy, Frank.
Yeah.
Mr. Bryce Harper. So Mr. Bryce Harper started his rehab assignment yesterday. Hasn't seen live pitching in probably almost 2 months. And smacked 2 home runs. He's not eligible to come off the 60-day injured list until Thursday. But, man, the Phillies are pretty much a lock for this National League wild card, one of the spots.
Yep.
It's going to be a big boost. I know we have a Philly fan in chat by the name of Justin Lambert. You should be excited. You guys went out. You got Thor at the deadline. You got David Robertson. Schwarber has been fantastic, minus the batting average. Castellanos hasn't been, but he does have a track record. I think eventually he'll figure it out. My only concern is with Bryce only being able to play DH, which is designated hitter for those that don't know. So he can't play the outfield. He can't play right field or left field. You're going to stick Schwarber and Castellanos now in your outfield, which makes your outfield defense even worse. And they were already a very bad defensive team. Frank, what do you think the return of Bryce and the potential it has for the Phillies going forward?
Yeah, obviously, when you put Bryce Harper back into your lineup, whatever team you are, it's a boost. For this Philly team that has been, fighting back over the last couple months after dismissing Girardi. It's a huge boost. This guy is a big time player. We've seen it in the past. No matter what you think of him, the guy is a big time clutch player, and the fact that he hit 2 home runs, yes, it's AAA pitching, but like you said, not facing live pitching in 2 months to do that's pretty impressive. I imagine that, just him alone being in that lineup will lengthen the lineup, and everybody else will start doing better because of it. So for all you Phillies fans, it's good news. Shout out Brandon from New Jersey if he watches this. But, I can't say
Justin Lambert from chat.
Shout out Justin. Yes, your Phillies they got a good spot here with this. Like you said, I think they got this wild card locked up.
Yeah. So we're going to bring up the National League wild card standings for those at home watching or wherever they are watching. They could be Subway, whatever. So National League standings. You got the Dodgers clearly probably going to finish with the number 1 seed. They've been rocking and rolling. You have the Mets in the 2nd spot, which we thought was solidified. Not solidified at this point.
No.
You have the Cardinals, and then your wild card, Atlanta, Philly, and San Diego. Since June 1st, the Atlanta Braves have the best record in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They are absolutely killing it. their pitching, their hitting, their defense, their willingness to bring up youngsters
Yes.
before it says ETA on the top 100 prospects. They called up Michael Harris. He's been great. He's been so great that they signed him already to a long-term deal that bought out his arbitration years and 2 of his free agency years. So kudos to them. They called up Grissom. He's been awesome as well. And it's funny, when you looked at the preseason rankings for farm systems, the Braves were like the bottom tier, but somehow they always find a player or 2 that gets called up and they contribute right away.
I'm not afraid to make those moves.
Nope, not afraid to make those moves.
It makes them a very dangerous team come October, for sure. It's not easy to repeat anymore, but yeah, I would not be shocked to see these guys go on another run.
No, I mean, they had a series against the Mets. They outshined them. I was surprised.
Big series for them.
That was a huge series. They're firmly in the driver's seat to probably take the Mets over in the division. The Mets haven't looked great over the last couple of weeks now. Last 10 days, they're coming off of losing 2 games in a row to the Yankees, which is crazy considering how bad the Yankees have been. Now all of a sudden the Yankees have won 3 games. I'm not excited, Frank. I'm not excited. I think it's fool's gold. They haven't hit.
Yeah.
I see on Twitter people were really excited about Frankie Montas's start last night. I wasn't. He labored. He grinded through. I mean, we essentially traded Jordan Montgomery to get Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Montgomery goes to the Cardinals, pitches 9 innings, complete game shutout.
Yeah. Baseball's funny, guys. Baseball's funny. And I would guarantee if Montgomery pitched those 4 games for the Yankees, he would have been 0-4. I don't know what's going on in St. Louis. They just find they get pitchers there and they turn them into.
It was funny. My apologies to Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah.
I said I don't think he's the type of player that can ignite a team, but in many ways over the last few games, he's been an igniter for the Yankees. He's been getting on base. He's been hitting. His approach, going opposite field. He's essentially hitting style, not anything else. He's the outfield version of DJ LeMahieu in their approach to at bats and everything. They're pretty much the same
type of hitter.
Yeah, same hitter, which is great.
Just less power.
You don't need power. We don't power hitters. Eventually,
eventually
we're going to get Stanton back.
Yes.
What's up, J&J? How you doing?
Oh.
J&J is a fan of the Boston Red Sox.
What's going on, Jay?
Unfortunately, Boston, this was their inconsistent year. Next year, they'll probably be a playoff team.
Yeah.
But
logic.
The Yankees have had a bunch of injuries. Efros is now on the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Schmidt got called up. He looks phenomenal. I don't know why that kid was sent down to begin with. We're going to stretch him out. Stretch him out for what? Stretching him out to do what? The season's almost over. He's not going to start in the postseason.
No. And we don't need him pitching 3 innings out of the bullpen and not being available for 4 days.
Like, what the heck are you doing?
Look, I mean, we show what work with Mike King. What are we doing here, guys?
I'm
tired of guys being sent down because they have options other people don't. Why are we so worried about protecting Albert Abreu, who's been a failure several times over?
And he got hurt. So
yet another top prospect the Yankees have just ruined his value.
Speaking of top prospects, Cabrera.
Yes.
Dude, so versatile. I love it already. You know
Love
what?
this energy.
He reminds me of a better version of like Enrique Wilson, Luis Soho, that jack of all trades
Yeah.
utility player that the dynasty Yankees used to have. They used to have one of those players on the team.
Mhm.
I think he fits the mold. I'm very happy with his production. I mean,
Yeah.
he's made great plays in the infield. He's made great plays in the
Yeah.
outfield.
The other night, I was at that game. He made that catch in the first inning. And the energy this guy brings. The fact he's a true super utility player, like you said, he's not like weak in any of these areas. He's not afraid to play these different spots. What it's done really, it's kind of kept Hicks on the bench.
Oh,
It's reduced IKF's role some.
Yeah.
It's done a lot of things, several things. I think he'll become a better hitter. I saw there was a good at bat last night when he walked in the run. I think he'll get even better as he goes along. He's not afraid to make some of these plays. That throw he made from the outfield last night to home plate to nail the second run. Yeah, so far, he's getting thumbs up from all accounts.
Again, this is the hashtag baseball only show. We went live because I didn't feel like editing another video. So we went live. We like to have the audience as well. So if there's something that you want to add to the discussion, please let me know. We will throw it in the mix. If there's something that we're missing, let us know. Or if you just want to sit back and listen or watch and listen, that's great as well. AL division leaders. Let's the wild card. Let's bring that up on the screen.
I think we're still in a similar to what we were.
Yep.
Last
Houston,
time.
top spot. Yankees, second. Cleveland, third. And Cleveland has the lowest payroll in baseball. Lowest payroll. And they're leading that division. Tampa Bay, not a big payroll. Toronto,
mix.
They've scuffled a bit. I mean, they won against us, so they kind of were, off the snide a little bit. But before that, they were struggling.
Yeah, for the Yankees' sake, thankfully for them, they decided to struggle against everybody else, as you said.
Yeah, and you have Seattle and Baltimore.
Baltimore's hanging on, but
if I told you that Baltimore would have won 64 games all year, you would have said that was too much.
Yeah.
Too many. They have won 64 games as of August 24th. What a run. Hats off to Brandon Hyde for making that team.
And I think we brought it up on one of the earliest episodes about what they could do. And this is before they were really getting on that run. It's just, I think you called both Cleveland and the Orioles having.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I did.
Although I think we thought next year more for Baltimore if they did the right moves. But, I mean they're only 2.5 out. Doesn't mean they're going to get in, but they're making it interesting.
What's up, Love Rules? How are you?
Welcome. We've got Seattle, obviously, still hanging.
We got Seattle. So, realistically, the Central, Cleveland has a 3-game lead over Minnesota and 4 on the White Sox. How the White Sox are even in contention is beyond me. If they do not let go of Tony La Russa, I will never understand that organization. He was a bad fit from the start. You had such a young team that is filled with Latin players, and you hire an 80-year-old Caucasian manager to manage the team. Look, how tone deaf are you? And it's not just me saying it. CC Sabathia last year on his podcast said the same thing.
Yeah.
He said, how is it possible that he's managing again in the major leagues with this roster? I could see him with several different teams. I can go, you know what? Houston Astros,
Yeah.
That probably would have been a good spot for Tony La Russa, where Dusty is. Like if Dusty Baker switched spots with Tony La Russa, it would have been interesting to see where the White Sox would be and where Houston would be.
Yeah. It's almost as if just like they were so taken by his name being, this is Tony La Russa, this is a guy who's won in Oakland, St. Louis, he's everywhere. It's like,
let me answer this one. It means we're gringo.
Haha.
Someone's at your door. It's probably your food.
It's all good.
Yeah. White Mafia. What's up, CS? Well, then we have speaking of the Astros, when you're having an MVP discussion, okay, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think people in chat will probably be shocked as well. I get that Shohei Ohtani pitches and hits, and that's why he's in the MVP discussion, because his wins above replacement is so high. It's like 6.3, judges at 7.2. But how is Justin Verlander not in the mix for MVP? How is he not in the mix? I will throw the stats out right now.
I was just looking at the stats earlier today, I'll be honest.
Let's get
honestly,
it.
Yeah, honestly, he should be in that conversation. Right? We're not saying he should win it. We're saying he should be in that conversation. He's obviously got to be the favorite for the Cy Young.
39 years old, okay? Coming off of not pitching last year, essentially not pitching the year before.
Yeah, basically
so 2 years off. Comes back, wins above replacement, 4.6 as a pitcher, outstanding. 16-3, a 1.87 ERA, 149 innings pitched, 148 strikeouts, so a strikeout per inning. And his whip, look at the whip, 0.846.
So for those who don't understand whip, that means this man is essentially that's less than one.
I get it that no one wants a pitcher to win the MVP, but we've seen pitchers win the MVP. Ohtani was a pitcher. I mean, granted, he hit as well. That's why he won it last year. But Verlander also won an MVP before. I'm not saying he should win it, but he should be in the discussion. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't finish in like the top 4 for the MVP vote for the American League.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, they need to take the MVP vote away from the writers because they don't know what they're doing.
No. If a pitcher's good enough, they can be in the conversation for MVP. I understand what you're saying, but
yeah, just like I get it. No one wants the pitcher autos and baseball cards. Yeah, it's a shame because, like, speaking of the sports card world, like Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson autograph cards go for less than like Alec Baum. Like, it's crazy. How is that even possible? They just so devalued. And pitching ultimately is what gets it done in the postseason. It's not the hitting. Someone brought up, what was it, Goldschmidt? Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt is having a fantastic year. He's in contention to win a Triple Crown. Paul Goldschmidt, 6.7, wins above replacement, 31 homers, 335 batting average, 87 runs scored, 100 ribbies, 5 stolen bases. You don't expect the first baseman to steal any bases.
No.
417 on-base percentage, 622 slugging, 1039 OPS plus of 195. If you look at the career stat line, he's like, this is a career year.
Yes.
For a guy who is in his 12th season at age 34, this is a incredible season. If he just continues on this path, he's locked up the National League MVP. And yes, he is Hall of Fame worthy. I think if he wins the MVP this year, there's no reason why he can't be in Cooperstown one day. And for that matter, if the Cardinals somehow win a World Series this year, next year, I mean, I think that seals the deal for him. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we both picked him at our half-year awards to be MVP, and I don't see any of that changing yet. Like you said, as long as he doesn't go any kind of prolonged slump, which I don't see happening. Yeah, he's had look at his career stats there. He's had it's quite a career. Maybe people don't talk about him much enough. I don't think they do.
It's because
he's a solid. He's a consistently hits 30 home runs. Consistently has a high average. Gets on base. Plays quality defense.
He's a Gold Glover.
He's a Gold Glover. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want on your team to have him a 12 years. That kind of consistency. I know he hasn't played all 12 years in St. Louis, but still, that's the kind of career you want to have.
I think that's part of the reason why he's not recognized as much is because he played with the Diamondbacks for 8 years.
Majority of that,
Nolan Arenado is definitely in the mix as well. His teammate, he's having a great season as well. I think for the AL, it's going to come down to Judge and Ohtani. I still don't think Ohtani should win or sniff an MVP on a last place team or a bottom feeder team.
Yeah. And this has nothing to do with Judge being in contention. I think we've talked about this before.
Well, last year, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. should have won the MVP.
Yeah.
That's just me. I get it. I get analytics. I get we're witnessing history. But it's very hard for me to give the MVP to someone that was on a team, even with a transcendent performance, that didn't make the playoffs. Couldn't even sniff the playoffs.
Right. I mean, if you take him off that team, what's the difference here, guys? Truthfully.
They would
if you take Judge off the Yankees, we know what happens. We see what happens when he goes into slumps.
Exactly. So...
yeah, I mean, how can I see them giving it to Ohtani? Yeah, I can, because we've seen this before. Just like when he won Rookie of the Year, even when he played half a season, kind of. We know what happened to Andahar since then, but, still.
There's always a bias against the Yankees.
It's weird.
And it's true. It's true. I mean, 2006, Jeter probably should have won the MVP. Yeah. He didn't. There was many other awards that
Andy Pettitte should have been a Cy Young, at least at 96, didn't get it.
Pat Henkin got it.
It was a fine pitcher, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, and people may think we're saying sour grapes here, but yeah, it's pretty obvious.
I think Freyland's.
You know what? I think we brought this up multiple times in the show already. You know what? The one example that we can give about the Yankee bias is who said that Derek Jeter wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
There's one guy.
Yep.
Because he was a Red Sox fan. Essentially. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like you said, Jeter should have won an MVP that year. We talked about Goldschmidt having this career year at his age. We've brought up Jeter having that phenomenal year in 2009 towards the end of his career.
Teixeira should have won MVP in 2009 or Jeter, and they gave it to Mauer.
Joe Mauer, yeah, good player at the time, but when you look back, who's Joe Mauer?
Joe Mauer's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is, but I mean,
he's a Hall of Famer.
Compared to, I'm just saying, you know what I mean.
He's a Hall of Famer because he played catcher. He won,
I
think, 3 batting titles. He won the MVP.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he is. He's a Hall of Famer. But I don't know. It's just weird.
It is. Maybe,
I was probably thinking of Morneau when he won it.
Morneau, yeah, Morneau.
That's probably what I was talking about. I didn't mean Mauer.
Morneau was he was red hot from mid-June that year through the rest of the year, and it snuck out that MVP.
Yeah.
But Jeter was consistent the whole year.
Yeah, that was his best year, most
That
likely.
I
One of
think
them.
his best year was the year, what was it 2010, 2011,
I think it was. Well, it might have been 2012. His last year before he
2012
got
when
hurt.
he
That was
led
like,
the league in
yeah,
hits.
it was 2012. Yeah, it was
I
another
mean, he
year.
was just killing the ball. But then unfortunately, broke
Never
his
get.
leg. And
Yeah,
that was it.
never
That
had
was
an
it.
MVP, but you know, first ballot Hall of Famer except for one guy. Idea, but nobody cares about that guy.
And
Anyway,
it's not just Jeter, right?
yeah,
You look at Ken Griffey Jr. You're telling me he
yeah.
shouldn't have got 100% of the vote. Cal Ripken
Who voted
Jr.
no? Like, what is your criteria, guys?
Like it was the unwritten rule that no one would get 100% of
Nobody's
the
allowed
vote
to. Yeah, which is so stupid.
until Mariano did, and then Mariano got it. I expected Jeter to also get 100%.
Then they
Then
did.
it came out, oh, one voter didn't vote him in. Come
Yeah,
on.
I guess this one voter wanted to have that fame. Everybody knows it was him.
Jeter always played a great game. Yeah, he played hard.
And I've seen a lot of arguments about Jeter's career, like, oh, he was overrated. He would have been like that if he wasn't a Yankee. Blah 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 blah. And this is coming from me, who's not even like I wouldn't even call Jeter my favorite player, but I always respected what he did for the team. Obviously, that right here, but
Yeah, I'm gonna stay out of the conversation because
Yeah.
I do have a biased view on
Yeah.
Jeter.
this is true.
Just like our wrestling combos that involve
Yeah.
Bret Hart. It's like,
You won't have an
But it-
argument from me.
yeah, but
But
it's funny because Charlie is so much like an HBK fan, but now
Doesn't
he
mind, but-
respects Bret Hart even more than he did since we've been reviewing shows.
yeah,
Otani,
yes,
let's look at his stat line. This is his hitting stats. Bum. 6.3 wins above replacement, 27 homers, 265 batting average. So if we just took the hitting,
hmm
he doesn't sniff the MVP.
no,
Doesn't sniff it.
he'd be a fine DH.
Yeah. The pitching. He's 10-8. Keep in mind, they're a terrible team. So win-loss records, you kind of got to throw those out.
Yeah,
What you have to look at is the ERA, 2.83. Very good ERA. 121 innings pitched. Really not a lot of innings pitched because they always limit his innings. What's up, Ben? How you doing? Strikeouts, 167. 13 wild pitches. Leads the league. Ks per 9, 12.4. So on the surface, if you break down individually his performances, if he was a batter, he doesn't win the MVP. If he's a pitcher, he doesn't win the Cy Young. But
Yeah.
because he does both, and no one's been above average at the same time in the history of the game,
it's like we have to give it to
puts his
him. Yeah.
analytics up so much that it puts him in the MVP conversation.
Yes. And guys, this is coming from both of us who had Otani at the top of our top players list. In fact, I put him at number 1 over Trout.
He's amazing. But when you look at awards, and we'll bring Judge's numbers up.
Let's say Judge didn't have the year he had, and like who else is out there having something similar that we can kind of compare it to? I don't know. I'm trying to think. And would you make the same argument there? I would probably still make the same argument because, like you said, the last place team that I know they say they don't call it the MVP, call it the best player, like the AL best player or something.
Yes.
And even then, I would argue.
It's like football, right? Like, so football, they have the NFL MVP, and then they have the Offensive Player of the Year.
Right.
So the NFL MVP was Aaron Rodgers, but the Offensive Player of the Year was Cooper Kupp. You know what? That made a lot of sense because if you took Aaron Rodgers off the Packers, they're garbage.
Right.
Like Jordan Love wasn't ready to be a starting quarterback. Cooper Kupp had an amazing year, the best year wide receivers ever had statistically. He deserved that award. I love the separation that the NFL has with their awards and how they give them out.
Yeah.
I wish baseball would move towards that. What's up, Russ? What's up,
Going on?
Ben? What's up, everyone that's joined?
We've discussed several legends. We've discussed some Cardinals players. I think there's somebody else we should discuss. Calling back to an earlier episode. I don't know. What do you think?
Let's bring Judge stats up for everyone at home.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
7.4 wins above replacement, historical. It's one of the top seasons in a long time. Still didn't have the most catches with an extra game. I get it. 48 homers, 297 batting average, which usually when someone hits that many home runs, they're not batting 297.
No.
In this day and age.
It's been over 300 several times. So
100 runs scored, 105 ribbies.
100 runs scored really sticks out too.
You know what sticks out? The 14 stolen
bases, yeah. We talk about intangibles about certain players. Jeez, 14 stolen bases. And he's only got what? He's only got 38 in his career, so he's having a career year on the base pass.
Yeah. OPS plus of 197, which is one of the highest we've seen since Bonds, really.
Yeah.
What's up, Mr. Nichols?
He's kind of hitting that level right now with people pitching to him. Obviously, there was a stat yesterday. I think Michael K brought it up. I heard on something else about Judge since Stanton has been injured that he saw like the least amount of pitches in the zone or something like that.
Which is exactly what I said was going to happen.
Yeah, as you said, it was going to happen. And the funny thing is, when this whole slide started, it was Judge was still raking and the Yankees were struggling. Even 2 weeks ago in Seattle, we were on live when all that stuff was going on.
Yeah, he went 9 games without a homer. Now he's hit homers in consecutive games. 48. He's still on pace to hit 62.
Would not be a surprise if he stays on this tear in the West Coast either. He does like hitting everywhere. So,
well, he's from the Bay Area.
Yeah,
Oakland. He's going to be extra juiced. His parents will probably be in the stands.
That'll be exciting.
His family, his friends. If he doesn't win the MVP and they give it to Ohtani, it's the second year in a row where they gave it to the wrong person.
I think it'd be bad for the game.
Vlad probably should have won the MVP. Didn't win the MVP. And I get why, because the Blue Jays didn't make the playoffs. So it was like 2 players where teams that make the playoffs, and they're like, we're gonna roll with Ohtani. That's what happened. Speaking of legends, Frank, take it away.
Yes. Funny that because we talked about legends in the home run derby in the All-Star game. I think was it a week episode or 2 ago?
Yes.
I think you went on the record and said we were discussing this gentleman and his chances at getting a certain number of home runs for his career. Albert Pujols is now what?
693.
693. I think you said I think we agreed like 2 weeks ago that he probably wasn't going to get to 700, but this past week, he decided to go on an insane tear, and now he sits just 7 away. Thanks. So yeah, 7 away.
7 away.
30 something games to play.
And what's crazy was he wasn't even getting that much time. So yeah. I'm going to bring up his stats. Pujols is juicing. Who knows? You know what? Let him juice. Let him get 700. I'm one of those, like, just take it. Take it. Pujols, his slugging now is over 500. He might change his mind after this little run. 7 away. Look at the career numbers. The only player that might come close to this stat line that's currently playing is Bryce Harper or Trout. Yeah, those are the only 2.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Almost 3,400 hits, almost 700 home runs, a 297 batting average, 1,900 runs, 2,200 RBIs.
117 stolen bases even.
phenomenal.
Jeez.
It is. I mean, is he the best player of our generation, hitting wise?
He might be.
The last 20 years? I mean, the stats look like that's the truth. It's kind of hard, though, because his back half of his career with the Angels wasn't so great.
Mm-hmm.
So he becomes one of those where it's a compiler. I don't know. It's really weird how baseball works, but still, like,
Yeah.
to finish with a 297 batting average after probably the last 6 or 7 years. I'll bring that up on screen. I'll show you his batting averages. There's a little. There's people screaming their heads off outside. What the? Batting averages on the Cardinals, like 300, pretty much every single year till he batted 299 his final year. Then it falls off, but still, his career average is at 297.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I've seen Pujols and Tatis. Yeah. Russell says, then just imagine he's done all this as an old man. He was already 40 when he came in the league. Just joking. Yeah, he did have some dispute with his birth certificate as well, didn't he? They said, yeah, because he was 21 when he came into the league, but there was a report that he was actually like 25.
Yeah, something like that.
So technically right now, he would be 46 or 47 years old.
It's kind of like, who was it in the Yankees?
I am 12.
Was that Soriano? I'm trying to remember. Who was the guy that left the Yankees and he gained 2 years in his age?
I was Rafael Soriano. Rafael Soriano, the pitcher, also had that issue.
Yeah.
Alfonso Soriano, the hitter,
was the
also
one
had the issue.
Yeah, that was the first one I was thinking of. Yeah, when he left, he was, I think, 2 years older than he said he was. Whatever.
Miguel Tejada had that issue.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They, the Dominican players did that so they can get their MLB contracts because the scouts wanted younger players that they can develop, and they didn't want to sign a 23 or 24-year-old Latin player. They're like, oh, you're 16? Cool.
Yeah.
We'll sign you. For all we know, Jason Dominguez could be like 30. Who knows? Who knows? Remember El Duque? El Duque was probably like 50 when he pitched for the
Yankees. Yeah, I think El Duque is another one where nobody's really sure how old he actually is. But I don't think it would matter anyway.
Well, I think we covered all the bases, pun intended, unless you have more to bring up.
Did we bring up – we talked about Ohtani. Did we talk about – we didn't talk about the ownership situation in Anaheim, did we?
Oh, we didn't. I forget because I talked about it during my my show last night.
Bring that up.
Arte Moreno, the owner of the Angels, it was a really weird press release. Like, I don't know why they came out with the press release like this, where they're exploring possibilities within the management, but also considering selling the franchise. This may be a good move. Moreno, by all reports, very nice man. He has spent money. He spent it foolishly. A lot of bad contracts. Probably shouldn't have fired his manager, Scioscia. They probably could have kept him.
I think so.
Granted, they said that he retired, but no, he got pushed out. They hired Joe Madden. That just didn't work.
Work at all.
The only free agent signing besides Ohtani that paid off for them was Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who won the MVP his first year under contract with the Angels. Had a great 4 or 5 year stint with them. but they had Verdon Wells there, who they got in a trade with a bad contract. They signed Gary Matthews Jr., bad contract. Josh Hamilton, bad contract. Who was that pitcher that they signed to a bad contract?
Oh yeah, the guy from the Rangers you're thinking about, right?
There, it just
TJ
in
Wilson?
general, every free agent deal that they made was pretty terrible.
The Pujols deal didn't pay off either. We brought up
Yeah,
already.
the Pujols deal that didn't work out.
Yeah. So I do find it interesting that they put this information out about possibly selling the team when he did refuse to trade Ohtani at this past deadline. He could have. Essentially, all these teams were willing to just. Even the Yankees apparently just told him, "Hey, who do you want?"
Yeah, and you
They
do
wouldn't
that
do that
for
for
that
anybody.
kind of player,
Yeah,
for sure. Why you don't do it for Soto, I don't know, but
that's another question. Yeah,
the
so-
ownership, it's smart if they're going to sell the team that you sell it with Trout and Ohtani attached. It's going to make the franchise more attractive. The stadium is old. The parking lot, the surrounding area, it's in the middle of nowhere.
I know I've been there.
It's not like a modern stadium where it's put, near in the city, literally, or attached to like a mall or stuff is built
Yeah.
around it.
It's just
There's
kind of like
literally
there.
nothing there.
It's kind of like there, and like you could take a walk a couple blocks to go to like find some food or something. There's not a lot of things going on over there. I've been there a couple times.
And I lived in California. You lived in California.
Yeah.
I went to a couple Angels games when I was younger.
Yeah.
And by all reports, and this was like the late 90s when I went to Angels games, not much has changed at that stadium.
Yeah, from last time I was there is 2001. I saw the Yankees play the Angels there. Yeah, I don't think from what I've seen, not much has changed. It looks nice on TV, but it's a pretty old stadium, as you said. There's a lot of this contract is $500 million.
Mike Trout has like a $468 million contract or something like that. He's the closest to the 500 mil.
But like we talked about with the Mets changing ownership, the Angels definitely could use a change there.
And it's not a spending the money because Moreno.
Yeah, he's been willing to spend the money. He just needs a guy in there that knows how to spend the money.
Yeah, it's the infrastructure.
Yeah.
He's also getting older, so I could see why he wants to sell the team.
Yeah.
And right now, sport franchises on the open market are going to net you a pretty penny. Mm-hmm. They're still a California, LA-based team. Yeah. Granted, they're not the Dodgers, but I think they could sell for probably around $3 to $5 billion on the open market.
Probably.
Call me crazy.
They definitely could use a new stadium.
They can use a new stadium. I'm just really fearful that that franchise is going to move.
Mm.
And they could move out of California. For all intents and purposes, we keep talking about Oakland moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But who's to say someone looks at the Angels with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the roster and they go, hey, let's buy the Angels and we'll temporarily play at Allegiant Stadium. Mm-hmm. We'll build a stadium in Las Vegas. You'll have Trout there. You'll have Ohtani. We'll spend whatever it takes to re-sign him. We'll build around. I wouldn't rule that out.
Yeah.
As much as people say, hey, like Oakland to Las Vegas is probably a done deal at some point,
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't rule out the Angels moving to Las Vegas either.
And it could happen very quickly. I mean, they could sell next week, and you could hear about a plan to do something like that and spend more money. Could be yet another potential suitor for Judge. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah,
already
they
said
could be.
maybe the Angels would be lower level. I know we talked about the schedule. The Yankees are opening at home against the Giants next year, and I saw a lot of fans on Twitter making the joke about, oh, maybe Judge will be playing against them.
I mean, they could because
Good. But
the Giants have a lot of money coming off of payroll at the end of this year. But for that matter, the Yankees do too.
they do
So,
too. I know we discussed last week, and you said the most likely thing is he's going to walk because they're going to lowball him, but they don't have to. There's a lot of mixed messages going on with that. But
yeah.
we've heard.
What do you guys think in the chat box? Do you think Judge is going to stay with the Yankees? Do you think they're going to lowball him? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get trolled and everyone's going to say he's going to leave just to get a rise out of me. But you're not going to get a rise. I fully expect him to leave.
He's been saying this for a while. So
I have stopped buying Aaron Judge baseball cards because of this. Let's see. Chat, what do we think? I know we have some opinions.
And and how about some opinions on the Angels? Who's going to buy them? Where are they going to move them to? Since we've decided today that they're going to move him somewhere.
He wins MVP. Yanks will throw the cash.
Yeah, I don't
no. That's your opinion, but I would never.
I don't see that happening, and that's not a bias thing. I just don't see that happening.
Oh, man!
If they did, though, I would probably just. I don't know.
I would consider. And I've never done this in my entire life, but I would feel so betrayed by a player. I would be one of those freaks that burns the jersey. I will become one of those people. I will be completely heartbroken and mortified.
Yeah, and I never get like that either. Like, Cano went to Seattle. I didn't boo him. I didn't get like that. I felt a little betrayed, but I wasn't like, trolling. Hey, but anything's possible. Like we said, every other year they're good, so it might be a good time. They didn't want to pay their own guys money, so maybe they'll pay somebody else's guys money.
That would be the weirdest signing of all time.
It would be.
So weird. Where do we think Judge is going to end up? I mean, we had Boston. We had re-signing with the Yankees.
San Francisco.
If I burn it, Phil, yeah. I will burn my National Treasures relic card numbered to 10. Ooh. I will burn it.
It'd be like saying, somebody like the Yankees we get put up for sale, somebody buys them and moves them to Vegas or something. That'd be the other probably way I'd react like that. I might start watching baseball. I'll be honest.
Or Judge to the Cleveland Browns to need a wide receiver.
Judge could have made it. Judge could have made it in the NFL. I'm sure he did.
Judge could probably play defensive end.
Yeah.
My heart just stopped. Yeah, my heart stopped. There's a reason why I like Judge so much. I really don't want to get into it because I get emotional over it. So, Major, what's up? How are you? Don't mind me. I'm just playing around. I get it, Russ. I get it.
Well, let's get off this kick. Even though I think we literally started this show with this question, although it was about the Mets at the time.
Yeah, I think the Mets. I'm still riding the Mets as my National League World Series. He's my man crush. No.
Yeah, you still have to put them up there, even though we just discussed that they could very easily lose this East Division. But you put that rotation in the postseason, and they're hot. It's tough.
Yeah,
the Yankees dodged both this week, not having to face both of them.
Yeah, the reason why I like Judge so much, when my grandmother was in the hospital, my last conversation I had with her was about Judge, so that's why. Before she passed away. I'm just no.
Hey, it's okay. I
That's
get
all
it. I
right.
get it, man. I
It's
get
all
it.
right.
I remember the '96 season. I was still in California. My grandfather and grandmother came to visit, and we had to put him in the hospital because his cancer. Well, we didn't know he was sick. He had gotten suddenly worse. And before we put him in the hospital, the last thing I was really talking to him about was the Yankees. Believe it or not, that was when they made that trade for Cecil Fielder. So every
Yeah.
time I think of Cecil Fielder, I think of my grandfather. I think of Poppy because that was
Yeah.
like the last time I talked to him about baseball.
Yeah, the last conversation, and I remember it vividly. The Yankees were playing Toronto. It was a late September game. It was towards the end of the season. She passed away in October, and she said, "Man, he's something special." And she was a huge baseball fan. She's like, "I've never seen someone his size with that power and athleticism in my life, and I've watched Mickey Mantle, Willie May, like she rattled off the players.
Yeah.
So that's why I like him so much. And if he was to leave the Yankees, it would be like terrible. I do too. I mean, it's what's up? What's up, James C? How you doing?
Hey.
Um, anything else baseball related? You want to bring up Frank or chat wants to bring up before we sign off for the evening?
Um, yeah, obviously Stan's coming back tomorrow. Interesting to see Zach Britton's rehab assignments commencing, which is kind of crazy. I think I heard that they were talking about his Tommy John wasn't the traditional surgery or something. Why he's able to come back so fast.
Yep.
I don't know what he's got, but it's just the idea that he would play this year is pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we'll see Stanton come back. We'll see Bryce Harper come back for the Phillies. We'll see Fernando Tatis come back at some point next year for the Padres.
We've got September coming up. I know that the expanded rosters aren't what they used to be, but we'll still see somewhat of.
And what is it, 28 man now?
Yeah.
Uh,
So we'll see something, some call of something around the league.
Pujols, will he hit 700? Will Goldschmidt win the Triple Crown? Will Judge hit 62 homers and be the home run king in many people's eyes? We got a lot of baseball left. Obviously, NFL is going to start and baseball is going to be on the back burner. This show is going to continue, though, and I'm going to have some fantasy football on this channel. And whoever wants to join me could join me. I would prefer if you appear on camera, but if you're camera shy, you could do audio only. It's up to you. But I think every Sunday before the games start, we're going to do like a little NFL / fantasy football pre-show. Frank, any words to our audience? Hockey.
Hey.
Yeah, it's too tough.
Yeah.
Only one person. I can't cover every single sport. Yeah. If someone wants to start a hockey show and you have a track record of doing some YouTube content, if you want to contribute to the channel, let me know. I'm always open for people to come on board. That's what I would like to do. I would like for us to have many different shows and many different channels as well. So,
yeah, please help. Please speak up if you'd like to do that, guys. I wouldn't be one to be joining that. Not that I don't like hockey, but I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I like hockey, but I mean, I
don't follow the season as quickly, as closely as I do baseball.
Yeah,
as far as football, I'll be honest. I'm sorry to interrupt there, but as far as football,
really watched it the last 5 years. Yeah, I'm still learning the sport.
Yeah,
myself. So I wouldn't be the best conversationalist when it comes to hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate the game, the sport. It's just not in my wheelhouse. It's just not in.
Yeah,
So,
it kind of comes on after baseball, well, during football, so it's kind of a weird position.
and it crosses over basketball.
Yeah, I mean, personally, me once baseball season's over, that's usually when I'm actually trying to get into football. And but unfortunately, my team, the Giants, have not been having a great time either. We understand each other there, but so because of that, like by the time I'm ready to watch, like to even want to be interested in it, the season's pretty much over. So it's like it's like a dead time for me.
Well, that's why you get a second team in football. So
been trying that for a while. Yeah, I sometimes I'll latch on to some teams.
So the Jets are my favorite team, but yeah, Diamond, he's a Giants fan. I'm a Jets fan. My favorite player is Aaron Rodgers. For better or worse, very polarizing. I know. I just love the fact that he sat for 3 years. He came onto the scene with a chip on his shoulder to prove everyone wrong, and he's just a fantastic quarterback. He's one of the best I've ever seen, if not the best.
Yeah, and to follow one of the all-time greats like that in Green Bay, it's nuts, right?
So pretty much after like week 3 or week 4 of every NFL season, I start rooting for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, which has been even worse the last 2 years because the Packers best record the last 2 years and they lose in the playoffs. So
things that happen, right?
We could be friends during the baseball season at least. I'm a Jets fan. He's the Giants fan. Frank's the Giants fan.
It's not a big deal.
She's a Cowboys fan.
It's not as bad as baseball, I would say, in New York. Or maybe sometimes it can be, but I don't see it. Heck, I would say hockey's probably worse in New York with Islanders and Rangers and rivalry and all that stuff in Jersey.
I would actually say the number one sport in New York, it's not baseball, it's not football, it's not hockey, it's basketball.
It's basketball, yeah, I'd say so. Even
when the Knicks are
circles.
Even competitive, they're the number one topic.
Sure.
In New York.
And which doesn't happen very often anymore. But that's all right. She gave you.
But no, yeah,
I'm afraid to ask which team you're a fan of.
I think he's a Cowboys fan as well.
My condolences.
You know,
to your wife, that is.
You know what's crazy is the Jets and the Giants have identical records since 2015. Like, the worst record, and it's identical.
It's wild.
We've had some horrible football.
A tale of two mismanaged teams.
And everyone forgets about Buffalo being in New York. At least the Bills are good.
At least the Bills are good. My co-worker at work's a big-time Bills fan, so I know. I just read the latest Sports Illustrated, their NFL preview. They actually picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year.
That's a kiss of death.
Kiss of death. I told her, I'm like, unfortunately, they picked that, so I don't know. Bad news.
I'm a Packer fan. Los Angeles Kings, Anaheim Angels. Okay.
My uncle in California has always been a big Kings fan since the beginning. He's a big hockey guy. So
thank you, Tina. We appreciate it. We try.
Well, thank you. Yes,
I try not to be very analytical and throw out sabermetrics that no one's going to understand. I try to put it in layman's terms. But yeah, this was baseball only. We somehow ventured into hockey, football. It's all good. Look for another episode probably early next week. We appreciate everyone that joined us on this live recording. I didn't want to publicize it, just wanted people to casually come in to see what's going on. I appreciate all those that stopped by. Hit the like button, check out the other content. If you want to come on the air and be and want to be an on-air talent, send me your YouTube channel and your content and your plan for a show. We'll take it into consideration.
Love it.
Thank you so much. I will post my email in chat. I am an email person. So email me. Do not find me on Instagram. Do not find me on Discord. Email just makes it a lot easier for me.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. If anybody wants my email, I can give you. I have several.
Yeah.
You can find me at FireFrank914 on the Twitter machine and the Instagram, which I rarely use. Facebook, if you want, under my real name, my shoot name, but
Yeah. You could find the Instagram for the channel JML Experience on Instagram. The TikTok, same thing. We're going to sign off for the evening. Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping in, stopping by, hitting the like button, chatting with us. Good night and good luck. I'll see you later. Good night.